but I think
Sorry.
we are recording now. Are we streaming yet, or is that coming?
We are now. We
All
are
right,
now.
cool. Hello, everybody out there in virtual reality and Facebook world and all those places. We are Lynn Alexander and Darrell Parry, and we are here with the Easton Book Festival and the Lehigh Valley Poetry Virtual Salon to welcome you and sort of kick off the book festival, which is kind of funny because I feel like there's like 3 or 4 events that we say are kicking off the book festival. We just keep kicking it off over and over again.
Just keep
Uh,
kicking everyone. That's
yeah,
okay.
we're, we're kickers. That's what we are. So. Let's get this thing started. And would you like me to pick a person first? The way we're going to do this is we're just going to kind of go around and point and shoot. And I'll say somebody, and then Lynn will say who's up next. And then when that person comes up, we'll just switch off, and each person, we will know who's coming up next. So you don't know real far in advance, so it's kind of a surprise, but
The
that's the
way,
way we do things.
but the way that you explain it fills us with anxiety. Like we're just
Yes.
going to be like, Sienna, you're next. So, right. So,
Read a poem now.
right. We'll give you a little bit of notice, but one of the things we try to do is kind of keep it loose, like we're all in like a living room. We're all hanging out. We're not, signing up on documents. We're not, we're not about the rules. We're about like, hey, how about you're next? And then we'll put in the chat. But
I
yeah,
think most of us are in a living room.
we are in
Just,
the
I know I am.
right. Pajamas, but just and just to kind of as a guideline, you are welcome to share. You're welcome. It could be a poem, it could be a short story, it could be a song, it could be a comedic monologue, but we'd like you to stay under 5 minutes just because that's the way it is. So you have freedom with limits, you know responsibility. Yeah. So I think to kick us off, it would be a really good idea if we welcomed Laurel. And I say I welcome Laurel because Laurel is, one of our partners with Glibwig, Greater Lehigh Valley Writers Group, and we have collaborated with them for a long time. And Laurel's one of the people when you join Glibwig, which maybe you will do, who will welcome you enthusiastically and encourage you to be part of things and really take the awkwardness away of being part of a new group. So I love that about Laurel. So I think it would be kind of cool to start off with Laurel. So,
Okay, and I think
Righty.
the second person after Laurel, let's do Chris Bogart. See, I called you Chris, not Christopher.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, hello everybody, and hi Andy. Haven't seen you in a while, but I was a part of the first or second Easton Book Festival. I did a panel on NaNoWriMo. I think that might have been the first or second year, and have been to a couple of things, but haven't been as involved in the last couple of years. So I was happy to get back involved, and I'll be doing a panel on Saturday with other Glibwig members. I have two poems, probably only about 3 minutes or so, so I'll be under the limit without any trouble, and they both have to do with this time of the year. Autumn Equinox. This morning's gift of dawn's first light brings equal parts of day and night. The equinox arrives once more to start the season I adore. The summer days come to an end as greens and golds begin to blend. The fields are ripe, the race begins to harvest crops and bring them in. The sun still warms the afternoon, but evening's chill arrives too soon. As sunset ends another day, the longer nights are here to stay. As nature slows and colors turn, the reds and yellows now return, a masterpiece against the sky as falling leaves begin to fly. The autumn teaches letting go to clear the way for more to grow. In gratitude, embrace the rest. The wheel now turns, and we are blessed. Eclipse season, the season of letting go. Such a powerful eclipse season, standing on the threshold of unknown transformation, emotions bubbling up from obscure wells, forcing inner growth as shadows are illuminated deep within. Hidden aspects of self rise to the surface, and repressed patterns demand to be acknowledged and released. Buried truths can be ignored at other times of the year, but eclipse energy is strong and insistent and never denied. I trust in the leaves beginning to fall, showing me how to let go. Mabon begins today, and I am reminded once again how difficult this season can be. I call on my memories to assure me of this annual journey within, knowing the cobwebs need to be swept away to make room for my soul's winter cocoon, giving thanks for blessings and embracing upcoming changes before emerging and embarking on new journeys come spring.
Thank you, Laurel. See, Laurel is mostly she has just gotten into her poetry phase recently, and it's really cool to see Laurel, who is typically a fiction writer, come in here and talk poetry with us. That is a very cool thing. I'm glad to have you here, Laurel.
Thanks.
Keep it going. Keep going with it and sharing it. I love it. Thank you so much, Laurel.
Yep.
So we said Chris was up next, and do you have a person to go after?
I do. I'm going to pick on Kinsey after. So Kinsey will go after Chris Bogart.
Thank you. And thank you for calling me Chris. Which I probably should put on the bottom of the screen, but I don't. I don't know. Anyway, what I'd like to do is I'd like to hawk this book. At least two of us are in it, Paul and I, and it's called Silence is Consent. It's almost 400 pages of poetry about the political situation of the United States at this time, and 83 different poets, 368 pages. All of the money that's made from this book, and so far there's been almost $1,000 made, goes to the ACLU. Having said that, I'd like to read, yes, same here. I'd like to read two poems. One of them is from the book, and the other one is one that I just wrote. And they both seem to, I know it might not look like it, but at the age of almost 80 years old, I'm a Bad Bunny fan. So I really take umbrage at the way people are saying he isn't American enough. Interesting considering that he is a fourth generation American, whereas the President of the United States is only a third generation American. Having said that, I would like to read a poem called This Is Us. From the very beginning, this is who we were, this is who we are, this is who we have always been. This is us. From the very beginning, San Miguel de Guadalupe founded it first, a European settlement in the state of Georgia, and made Spanish the first non-native language spoken in North America. This is who we were. Over 300 years ago, Filipinos founded fishing sites in the bayous of Louisiana. Philadelphia merchants signed a pact to fight the tyranny of the Stamp Act, risking a life and reputation. Jewish colonial Matthias Bush was the very first person to sign up. Crispus Attucks, an escaped black slave, was shot by the British on Boston Commons. He was the first free man to give his life in the struggle for America's independence. Yusuf Ben Ali and Bumpid Mohammed, Don Colonial Blue, fought side by side with their Christian and Jewish neighbors in defense of their new homeland. Sorry, the pages are sticking. All right. Aaron Solomon stood shoulder to shoulder with recruits of the Gloucester Volunteers facing smoke and fire at Bunker Hill. Francis Salvatore, a Sephardic Jew, rode out on horseback to raise the alarm. He gave his life to keep his neighbors safe. Thomas Jefferson studied the Arabic language from his own copy of the Koran. He was the first president to host an iftar to mark the end of Ramadan. His Quran is still in use today. Henry Blair was the first Black inventor to get multiple patents for his many inventions, yet he could not write his own name. He signed with an X. Chinese laborers in sweltering heat laid mile after mile of hot metal rail for America's transcontinental railroad. This is who we are. Martin Luther King led a movement that resulted in the passage of the Civil Rights Act, ending institutional segregation. Dr. Luis Alvarez, a Nobel Prize winner for his work with subatomic particles, microwave beacons, and landing protocols for airplanes, and the theory of dinosaur extinction. Dr. Mario Molino won his Nobel Prize for research into CFCs and the threat they pose to the ozone layer. The world's first patent for a colored TV was given to Guillermo Gonzalez, a naturalized citizen of Mexico. The estimated number of migrant workers toiling in the fields of California today is about 2 million souls. This is who we have always been. 6,000 Muslims, 60,000 Asians, and 64,000 green card soldiers born to poverty in Central America serve in our military's uniform today to protect the freedoms we all enjoy as citizens of the US of A. This is us. And the second poem I'd like to read is one that I just wrote. I don't know whether you saw on Saturday Night Live, but Bad Bunny gave us a challenge that in 4 months we have to learn Spanish. So I decided to give it a shot. This is called Be a Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny, or in Spanish, and I apologize for those who speak Spanish, Soy un conejo malo, conejo malo. Bad Bunny, do you think that you on the NFL dime could chuck a roll of paper towels the way that President Trump once did in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria? Why not whip his bounty right back, Bad Bunny? Not as a lob, but as a burn, a tight spiral with dead-eyed aim at his orange head of bleached blonde hair. Be a Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, how many of your undocumented fans could afford to buy tickets for the Super Bowl? Probably the same number eligible for Medicaid. So please give the maggots a show they'll remember para siempre. Tu Bunny, eres el rey de todo lo Puerto Rico, un boricua de la tierra de guerreros taínos. Canta tus canciones en la idioma de Lorca y anoya a las magis que Aragón con para escucharlas. Sé el mejor conejo malo que puede ser, or in English, you bunny are the king of all Puerto Rico, a boricua from the land of the Taino warriors. Sing your songs in the language of Lorca and piss off the maggots who pay dearly to hear them. Be the best bunny you can be, Bad Bunny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I'm glad you were able to make it and share that with us. Thank you. So Kinsey was next. And Darrell, who would you like after Kinsey?
I think I'm going to pick on Nick.
Okay. Welcome, Kinsey, then Nick.
Hello, Lynn. Hello, Darrell. It's wonderful to speak with you guys. I am actually a publishing assistant from 30 West Publishing House, but
Okay.
I hail from Indiana. So I am also a poet, and I have three short poems for you to share with you guys tonight. My first is Loneliness in Color. My heart pours colors in the sky that trigger a smoke alarm that stays unfixed. So I close my eyes to absorb all of my feelings, but when I try to fill the bucket with water from the gourd, I come up empty. Transfixed on the blackness, I look dead to the sky in the distance. My next poem is called Monster. What if the thing with claws, razor-sharp teeth, and fur isn't the monster? What if it's the husband who prioritizes his work schedule, never emotionally available, or the people that you should be able to fall back on, make you see them as a form of codependency? The parties slip and slide in a distortion, and you are caught in the middle of the illusion. So yes, this should be slaughtered. My third poem is called Body Horror. Feel all the edifices of lies curve around my spine, crackling against your lips, tongue feeling for goosebumps, biting for blood. Drink in the supernatural power you possess. Let's make a hybrid of all the mistakes you've made and give into the gaudy golden light promising you sanctuary. Smaller and smaller on the tip of my tongue until you fall into the crevices of pure pleasure that pulses pink with blood. And that's it.
All right. Thank you,
Oh,
Kinsey.
thank you. And thank you.
And Kinsey is also in the current issue of Stick Figure Poetry Quarterly, which I would be remiss not to mention.
Right. And shout out to 30 West. We've done a lot of events with Josh and different
Yeah.
authors from 30 West. They've been involved. And I believe 30 West will be at our expo on Sunday. Shameless plug. There's an expo in
Oh,
Easton on Sunday.
yes, at the Siegel Museum.
Yes, Josh is super excited. It's super.
Everybody should come to that because it's going to be really cool, and somebody really cool is running it. That would be me.
It's true. It's true. True.
So next up, I said Nick, and who will be after Nick, Lynn?
I'm going to. So Marianne is on. Is Marianne reading or listening?
I'm listening.
Okay, well then we'll skip over, but if you change your mind, we could come back to you. So I'm going to pick on Paul. So Paul and we have Collapsed Press. So Paul is my partner with that. So I'm going to pick on Paul after Nick.
All right, so I just have one quick piece to share. I'm from Philadelphia. I found this event on Google like an hour ago. So I feel like, since it's not my community, I wanted to spectate more than contribute. But yeah, I think I have one that's kind of just like a quick think piece, I guess I would say. I always feel like I'm in the right place, but it's never at the right time. People always say things like, you should have been there. It used to be so crazy here. And it makes me wonder what they'll say next, when this era will be the one that you had to be there for. I always feel like I'm on the outside of the inside jokes. A day late, more than a few dollars short, wrong day, wrong year, wrong decade. Does anyone else feel like they're exactly where they need to be? Exactly when they need to be? I show up 5 minutes early to my shift, but it still feels like I got there tardy every single day. Then I wonder, is it me? Do I not bring enough energy? Do I need to do more to make these moments the moments? Wars happened here, but I was never there to fight. And I saw the scribbled graffiti, but I never got to see them write. I always feel like I'm in the right place, but I've never, ever been there at the right time. And one thing I just wanted to add in is, as a Puerto Rican American, I really wanted to thank Chris for his commentary on Bad Bunny. It's very cool to hear that.
And can I mention, Nick, that Easton is only 2 hours away from Philadelphia. So
I might have to visit sometime.
well, we have a book festival going on. Next weekend, we got a lot of poetry events coming up.
Oh, awesome.
And
So check out eastonbookfestival.com for the full I was gonna say course load. I'm still in college mode right now. I work at a college. So and the full program list.
right. And Laurel added that so there's the Glibwig Writers Cafe, which is on Zoom, so you could join that. And I also mentioned that Lehigh Valley Poetry does a quarterly virtual open mic and Friday Collapse. We also do a monthly virtual open mic. But also, you know what? If you're in the Philly area, check out Fergie's. And we have there's a lot of events going on down there too, which I probably don't have to tell you, but just plug for Fergie's. That's a great series through Moonstone. But Paul is up, and who will be after Paul?
I'm gonna say Sienna after.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. It's an I don't always get to participate in the Easton Book Festival, and when I do, it's usually only ever online because I'm 3,000 miles away, and maybe I probably have excuses. I probably need to fly out there one of these years and actually do it. So yeah. So but thankfully you guys don't pressure me the way you pressured poor Nick on the previous round there. So like, oh yeah, next weekend, buddy. Be here or be square. But anyway, thank you so much for doing this, guys. Here's my bit for tonight. This is a poem called Pop Quiz for Shapeshifters, and it begins with an epigraph from Lauren Parker's Dark Way Down. The epigraph is, all that is left to do is pray for rain. Study question. Shouldn't every good shaman get to have their coming out party in the Mojave Desert? No, dear, it's the Sonoran for you, and please spare us the indignity of pretending we missed the bus on accident. The worst thing a skinwalker could hope to assimilate is someone with fashion sense. This is how a red flag turns British. Chemistry is the left-handed monkey wrench of the universe. The locals expect us to taint the adrenaline base, but in fact, it is the casing fluid we target. You are forced to sculpt your soundtrack from the AM radio tide and the gussied-up cowpoke, imprisoned in a transmitting station somewhere between Kingman and Wickiup, wailing the palpable loneliness and betrayal that can only be tasted on the wind, howling beneath the convex walls of a canyon wash. Man, out here, even the warlocks are on meth. This is the only planet that will tolerate them. Study question. How in the hell did they manage to install a searchlight out here? You could sell your Cadillac in town and live off the dirt cheap rent forever, but that itself is a price you can't afford to pay. Every demon ever turned loose in this frontier wound up homesteading somewhere among the electric transmission tower routes where the petroleum and electromagnetic anomalies have the kind of intercourse that results in the birth of all these portals that all these wingnuts are running around out here looking for. Study question. Who was it that assembled this altar made of a severed Barbie's head and cracked rearview mirror on the Cigarro? A storefront is always a pretense to a portal. The emptier the store, the farther away the portal will take us. Study question. How is it you abominations of the spheres appropriated ran away with my evolutionary timeline? You're not the archetype I began this road trip with. You shifted. Well, or maybe that was me. Study question. How is it they installed a searchlight out here before they installed a Las Vegas? The chlorinosphere is the bubble of moisture depraved astronauts pass through on the outskirts of the larger planets, a border one knows they've crossed when the smell of petrichor gives way to the smell of swimming pools, sweat, and golf courses. Back out in the wilderness of thirst is where we begin to understand how family members begin to turn on each other. Marriage and divorce are their own storefronts, their own commodified portals. Too much energy stored in all these ratty suitcases, we were always bound to lose each other on either side of the Colorado, both of us desiring to be desired, but nowhere near as much as the river needs to be desired. Study question. What year is this? You blurt out. The answer. Unbearable. So we can only scream until they turn out the lights. Study questions. Multiple choice. Was she your mother, your lover, your daughter, your adopted family, your Bardot family? Your sanctuary? Nah, brother, she is your sister, and you better believe she's the heaviest of the lot of us out here on this chessboard shaped like a desert tortoise for the amusement of a barely curtained god. All your hunger, your thirst, your desire is just some form of the blight light wanting to eat itself in the name of self-awareness. And so, yes, you should be wondering about that gussied up cowpoke broadcasting beneath the transmitters over yonder. He could have been anyone's breakfast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us every year. You know, we know that you support us even though you're on the complete other coast, and we appreciate it. And someday we will get you out here. So thank you so much. So Darrell said Sienna was next. And I think after Sienna, how about Bryn? Bryn is on tonight. Bryn is a local poet as well as Sienna. So you are next.
Thank you, Lynn. It's good to see you. I'm going to read a short poem that I wrote a few years ago. And the context is near one of my gardens, there was a family of deer, and a mama doe got hit by a car. And in the middle of the night, while a man took away her body, her fawn watched. And like many of the gardeners in the area, we kept an eye out for the fawn, and we weren't sure whether the fawn had survived. I only heard later about, the fawn being spotted. So this is a poem from the mama to the child, to the fawn. It's called When You're Ready. My child, after my death, you'll find another. Not all mammals are so kind, but dear, oh dear, they form families like people, adopting any or all who need a living, prancing mother. Dear one, after my death, if I may leave you young, by way of a speeding, fleeting farm truck, wait for me. See the good man who carries my body, whimper in the tall wheat, crouch and cower from subsequent passing headlights. Be careful. But don't lay down and die young with me. When you're ready, let dawn crack your sorrow. Let one sunbeam break open your hope. Find our ancestral tree line, you know the one, and distant cousins will welcome you to their nest. I promise, my child, you will always be loved if you try.
Has us quiet, right? That's so sad. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
All right. So you said Bryn is up
Bryn,
next.
yes.
After Bryn, we will go with Shakti.
All right. Well, Jashiv, Hishmishabrini Wadinashi. Hello, everybody. I'm Bryn Moody of the Fairies. I am an Irish storyteller, bard, all of the above, carrying on an ancient tradition that was almost lost because of British colonialism. And so I am actually going to be slightly shifting from my usual course today to promote a really fun project that has been going on since last October called now The Poet's Cauldron, which is an anthology that myself, Andrea Freeman, and Magnus Mateo, who are two other local poets, have been working on. And if you are interested in more, go and check out The Poet's Cauldron on Instagram. We'll have a book tour coming up soon for anyone who's local. So these are two pieces, one from last year and one from this year's series of prompts. So enjoy. And you can read a whole lot more if you get The Poet's Cauldron. The first piece here is a piece called The Forest of Grim Shade, which was based on last year's prompt number 6, Haunted Daydream. Winds that prowl, winds that howl, things that prowl, stalking amongst the shadows, branches groaning, creaking, and moaning, breaking silence, these ancient boughs. What you find amongst these trees, your mind spirals with the shuffle of ease. Crunch and crack on the earthen floor, into another world, through some hazy door. With every step further and further, shadows slither and creep, the path lit with dim light as you tread further deep. Ragged wings like the night encroach closer. Their cries and screams come around and surround, and echoes out all around. And then you blink, feel your heart sink. This isn't a daydream after all. You're just waking up. And I have one more short piece from this year as well. This is based on the first prompt of this year, My Siren Song. And this is the first of an 11-part series that I wrote for this year. And I'm continuing to write outside of this then. My siren song sings through the branches of the trees as the wind howls through in the bite of the breeze. Barren boughs tremble in the waxing moonlight, rising in abyss as the night birds take flight. To the shadows that grow disquietly, the entrancing music sings so ardently. To put you in on paths so dark, to pull you in on paths so dark, through twisted trees with gnarled bark, to guide you in and carry your soul, as from midnight distant bells now toll. My siren song sings as the path goes on, to carry you through until night breaks to dawn. Thank you all very much. Again, check out the Poets Cauldron. Thank you.
You and Bryn, will you have? I don't know. I'm hoping you're at Wicked Brew this week. Will you have copies, or Andrea? Will someone bring them?
So we are working on getting copies right now. We do have a book tour set up, so we'll hopefully be getting them soon. I'm not sure if we're gonna do it. We're working on trying to get physical copies, but we'll definitely have digital at some point too. That would be more of a question for Andrea, though. But I will be at Wicked Brew as well.
Well, congratulations to you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So Darrell said Shakti next, right? Was that right, Darrell?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, good evening.
And then who's after? Who is after?
My name, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say Mike Padavani will be after you. So go ahead. Sorry, Shakti. Go ahead.
No problem. Well, I'm so happy about to being in this meeting. Shakti Ferry from Colombia, and this is my first time here in this festival, which is something I used to live back there. I'm journalist and artist, and I used to write a lot. Then you come to another country, and some way in order to survive, you stop. And recently, I started to write again, and to find this event, it's been so beautiful. I'm just really, really happy there's this kind of events here. Like, for me, it's the kind of events that are worth it. I'm going to share with you guys 3 short poems or 3 verses. That is what I like to write most, related with my depression and alcoholism, which is like the kind of thing I like to write, like about healing. So the first one, the name is Time of Recovery. Have I ever been a healthy person? Have I ever been healed? Did exist any time I will be clean of pain and truly free. Light of weight, not backpacking. This time of my life is called recovery. Nothing special happens right now. Just to get home and rest of my infinite tiredness and pass one more day not having that glass. They say nothing else is needed. They say I'm already a winner. I think there's not yet any emotion, any joy I could perceive. I think it's just emptiness and solitude what I feel. But I believe in them. I believe in their paths. I believe in their wounds have become stars. And I wait patiently the day to smile come. I would like I would like a refuge for you and me, far from the hostility of the world, where flowers will grow and no one will step on them. A place where the sun will always rise, the wind will blow, and a little rain will fall, but always with a sunshine. I would like a refuge for us, far from the cruelty of the world, a place where nothing will die, except by natural causes and in the most peaceful way, where what we love will be eternal and nothing will be broken, not the soul, not the heart, not the will to live, a place where everything will be love and honor, where everything will be valued, like something that occupies a place in a space because it deserves to live and breathe, because it deserves to exist, where innocence will be cultivated like the most beautiful flower, and so love will endure in its essential form, eternity. And finally, there's a Mexican singer. Like I said, I'm Colombian. She is actually from, I don't remember. I can't believe I don't remember. But her name is Chabela Vargas. She's very famous and she was just amazing. So if I no longer have if I no longer have my wines or my cigars, nor the embrace of smoke when I'm so alone, if I no longer have the consolation of the promising glass, nor the madness disguises as joy, nor the smoke that exorcises me, at least I have you, dear Chabela, you who in the end lock away your demons and let yourself sing once more on the altar of your greatness. If I no longer have the tunnel that takes me from life, if I no longer have the black tears, nor the red wine of my ancestors running through my veins, if I no longer have the tangos and the repressed cries, at least I have your voice, Chabela, that exorcise me too. You, all beautiful and sublime, memorable as in the beginning, with your Mexican poncho, but much more beautiful and luminous, invincible, and always wounded, singing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was beautiful. So, Lynn, you said Mike is next?
Right. Mike. So Mike just came back on, so I hope you're ready if that's okay.
Mike looks ready.
Right.
Yeah, I am all good. Sorry about that. I got disconnected somehow.
No, we
Um,
We're glad you made it back. So I'm gonna call on Boris next after Mike.
Okay.
Right on. Thank you guys. So I am actually here for the first time, in referral from Chris Bogart. Me and Chris were actually in Monmouth's grad program together. Um, and just trying to get my feet wet a little bit. So I have uh two poems to share with you guys tonight. Um, and thank you in advance. So the first one that I have is just called 10-1. When I'm standing on the top step before heaven's gates, he'll say, my child, wasn't it worth the wait? I'll say, yes, of course, and the calming voice of my father will reiterate my missteps and my faults, and perhaps some of the good I've done too. He'll say, my son, you've tripped up and sinned quite a bit. I'll say, yes, father, and I could never seem to unload my clip, but I never followed through with it. At times, I let my anger and pain define my choices. In those moments, I couldn't seem to silence the voices. The gambling compulsions, the multiple abortions that I let lust and loneliness lead me into. So you've taken a life, my father will say, and the thought hasn't left me alone, not even a day. The grief and the pain hasn't detached from my heart, so I buried it and wouldn't allow myself a fresh start. I tried to forgive myself, but I couldn't, so here I stand, honest and prudent. My regrets are far more than leaves on an oak. My child, your heart is in my hands. With those words that he spoke, I was finally freed. And then I have one more for y'all. Let me get it. Let me get it up. Appreciate the love. Um, and this one's untitled. Um, I have trouble picking titles and stuff. Um, so here goes. Get up, review. She doesn't taste like you. She's new and unkind. Is your body still mine, or is it rented away one at a time? Are you still grieving me, or has that come to a close? Mr. Lee's noodles don't taste the same. She doesn't know I get a double order of chicken, and you give me half your jalapenos. Your picture frame is empty. There's dust on the camera. The cancer far from back. I know you celebrate that. In your wide-mouthed grin, there was such joy. I hope it was fact and not fiction. You've written a new description without me in it. I hope he never finds your tickle spot because I'm still fighting for it back. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome, and hope we hear from you again.
I'll be back.
So Darrell, you're going to introduce Boris, and I have a question. Chris Phillips, from Festival Past, are you reading tonight? Or are you listening? Or
I can. I was here to listen, but yeah, I noticed which way the wind was blowing, so I grabbed my notebook just in case.
Well, would you want to go next after Boris?
I would be happy to. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, and for those of you who don't know, or maybe you do know, Chris is also has been part of the festival for many years, has been on the board with us, has been president a couple of years ago, so supporter. So just a little plug for the festival family. So, Darrell, did you want me to pass it back over to you to introduce?
Oh, well, I don't know if we were necessarily doing introductions,
No.
but it's not like we have bios for everyone here.
I know, but
So, all right, Boris is up next. Take it away, Boris.
How do you do? As my caption says, my name is Boris Belinki. I was born in what used to be the USSR. I wrote poetry probably since my first grade. Then I learned English and I started writing poetry in English and translations and parodies. Just recently, I wrote a fiction and I published it. So here I am. It's called The Church of Isekai. It's the Church of Isekai. The idea is that Isekai is the ability to like travel between worlds. It's a Japanese cartoon theme, and the idea is you need to believe in this idea in order to come together with other people who also believe, and that's when you form together a church of isekai. So if you want to take a look at it, go ahead by the name. The name is quite catchy, The Church of Isekai. Take a look. It's available for free on Google Play and in paper on Amazon. As I said, I wrote poetry ever since I was very little. I translated a lot of poetry. I'll try to use the rest of the 3 minutes that I have to read whatever little that will fit. And I'd like to address Lynn Alexander. The next poem is for your friend. To meow or not to meow is not a question. For meowing is concurrent with paw-licking. To lick one's paw while tail performs its flicking. To lay upon the shelf while looking downward upon a cup that had performed its purpose by sliding, first propelled by gentle pushing, then flying downward quickly, floor approaching and smashing into many shiny pieces under a deeply fascinated stare. To purr contently, letting out deep rumbling, having partaken greatly of smoked sausage. That flesh is yummy. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To nap, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub upon the belly. Allow it, then perform a vicious scratching upon the hand that dared it. To hiss, to scratch the door your life bemoaning, demand to be released from the enclosure, then scream outside, awakening the neighbors, demanding for return to be permitted, then lo, escape to undiscovered country from whence no traveler returns, puzzle the will of human, ignoring psst, 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 and missing posters, and then just show up once at ye old doorsteps, fluff back into good graces of the human, stare at the ceiling. What's more captivating than fly that others know of not? Then dashing is enterprise of greatest pith and moment, and faces lost in action. And for and no, that's a parody, not a translation. Crawling through the snow of some Siberian town you may not believe is a lot of fun. Room and board are free. State is very kind. Barely you notice 20 years flying by. KG bell, rings oh KG day. Oh, what fun it is to squeal all your friends away. Shortages of food is a bunch of lies. Chopping down the trees, healthy exercise, walking barefoot makes you truly fit. And the torture rooms, well, maybe just a bit. All throughout KG land, life is KG fine. Dare to disagree, serve some KG time. Tell the best of jokes to the best of friends. Laugh in their report. He'll rush off to send. He will join you soon. Please do not be sad. First, because he listens. Second, told his mom and dad. We don't care what you send. Fantasies or lies. One who rats out the most maybe wins a prize. And if I'm going to read an English translation of a Russian song, and my hope is that especially my fellow European-born Irish lady, that she would understand where the original is from. Garden is asleep, all is standing still. Sparkling stars look down from their heights. If you only knew just how precious are all these Moscow suburban nights. River standing still and is running fast. All in silver sparkles and lights. Wind brings sound of song and then silence falls on these Moscow suburban nights. Why are you, my love, looking so remote? Bow your head and hide in your eyes. It is hard to talk and hard not to talk. Trust my heart, love, it never lies. In the east, the sky's getting painted red, nicer than the prettiest sights. Don't forget, I said, all the love we had in these quiet suburban nights. And the last, because I know that I'm squeezed for time, because I can go on for a while. Just a small introduction. There is a Russian, like a nursery rhyme where it goes about all this pretty fir tree that grew in the forest, and the peasant once took it down, brought it for our Christmas decoration, and we all dancing around, having decorated it beautifully. That's basically the gist of it. So my translation and parody at the same time. A fir tree born within the woods grew up so tall and fair, devoid of any fashion sense, wore green throughout the year. A scared rabbit hopping by, concerned about its lot, and shortly after, Big Bad Wolf had hair a la mode. A once horsepower all-terrain is dashing through the snow. Greenpeace attempts to interfere and suffers a KO. Against a peasant with an axe, the tree puts up no fight. He drags the pretty spiky cone and sets it up inside, with lots of lights and lots of toys and lots of food. The children played and danced all night around the corpse of wood. And I guess the last one on much of a lighter mood. If your spouse always sitting idle, makes you suey or homicidal, and your kids are refusing to call ethanol, ethanol, ethanol. If your mother-in-law so frightful, you won't mention her after nightfall, with her hubby annoying you so, ethanol, ethanol, ethanol. Drink and children are never fighting, and your in-laws are so delighting, and your spouse is as cute as a doll. Ethanol, ethanol, ethanol. May I have another one?
I think we've hit time at this point.
Okay.
So we should probably move on to somebody else. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you for coming, though.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good stuff. Great stuff.
Thank you.
So I said Chris next, and it was your pick.
Okay, since we're on a book festival board theme, I'm gonna hit Andy for the next person. So go ahead, Chris.
Andy, were you going to say something? All right, so I'm going to start with a very short poem that I wrote recently, talking with a student of mine. I'm an English professor, but I haven't had a whole lot of time to write lately. So this is about that. It's called Teaching Tonka. And shout out to Marianne Riker and other folks in the Tonka writing community around here. Not time to write yet. The schedule squeezes too hard. But a student asks if I write poetry, and my held breath escapes through this nib. Said it was short. The next poem, so last fall I was leading a program through my college in London, and I realized I had 2 poems in this notebook from there that aren't completely dreadful. One is kind of dreadful, but I'm going to read the one that's a bit heavier, and then the other one that seems heavy but turns out maybe not to be. So this one is called "What If All Yogurt Tasted This Good?" I can't even remember the brand, but when I saw the ad on the side of a bus, it looked like, what if all you hurt tasted like God? And for the rest of my commute, I couldn't stop thinking that question. What if each act of aggression, each snide comment, each loved one diminished a little or a lot or in between when I bit for the salt, the sour, the bitter, actually made a small tear that let God in through the hygienically sealed packaging, leaking into my mouth from which defilement comes and does that crazy reverse infection thing that grace does at its holiest. What if the thing that shames me that I can't take back and I wish weren't there actually savored of God Almighty? What would I need to change with that taste on my tongue? This last one is called Not Even a Day. I started writing a day in the life because that's what people ask you. How was your day? What did you do? What's it like there? But I'm in London and therefore unmoored, not knowing what a day holds or what it held, and somehow disinclined to write it out. But I finally decide to try. But when I think of the day, I can only think of this day now, not half gone, about my breakfast, reading, commute. That commute was a bus and 3 trains, long enough for me to know I'd be late and to change my route for a different version of today. And then I can only talk about that 3rd train, the 7-stop train that stopped in the dark after only 1 stop. We're being held for a few seconds, the driver said. Somebody may have jumped. Apologies for the delay. How can that be worth only seconds? I thought. As we, the passengers, I mean, who had just become a we when we heard somebody, groaned in our guts, not quite inaudible, sending up prayers and worries and flashes and questions as we were all being held in the city's innermost parts. A routine birth stopped halfway. An update. Somebody dropped something and went after it. London's worst rookie mistake, whether they were new or here or not. We all let go, still held, then moved. Then a baby arrived, sitting up, staring, defeated the parent posed puzzle of shoes. In a pram with her mum and another pulled behind it, she regarded me, sparkles held in waiting. I smiled. Sparkles went off like an untied shoe. A nose crinkle to move the world. Then a wave. She and I bounced back and forth till she turned the game to others in the we, passengers, we. Some caught on, some missed. Mum held her conversation all the while till stop 7, now 8. Come too soon. And I left. I walked to Foyle's for a rare book of otherlandish poems, still seeing the sparkles after the deadly pause. I found my book, found 3 more, bought 2, sat down with a tea to write this. Or how do we not accumulate more than we meant when a city holds and we behold that much? Thanks. It was the first time I've gotten to share those. That was great. For me, anyway.
And we're glad you did. I like to hear you read your poetry. I don't get to hear that very often because you're usually announcing other people who are reading poetry. All right, so I said Andy, our festival director and founder, is up next, and we will see who Lynn wants after Andy.
So, Tammy, are you reading something tonight? Are you sharing as well, or are you listening?
Sure, I have a couple I could read if you have time.
Sure, absolutely. Because we, also on the board, we, little plug. So, how about after Andy, we hear from Tammy?
Okay, hello. Thank you for having me. Today, we had a poetry workshop at Book and Puppet led by Kaylee Tedesco, and it was a poetry workshop called It's alive, placing monsters in our poems. And there weren't very many people here, so I sat in on the workshop. And I have not written poetry for, I think, decades. But I felt empowered since I was sitting there in a workshop. And this might be a counterpoint to Chris's poem about being a person moving through a city. But we were charged with feeling empathy for a monster and writing from the perspective of the monster. And this is a horror poem, which mixes gross and beautiful images. And Chris, if you had been at this part of this city, the outcome might not have been so pleasant as what you actually experienced. We got to choose our monster. Godzilla gently inserts claws amidst the Guggenheim Museum's sloping spirals, ripping it from Fifth Avenue. Vomit blossoms outwards as disemboweled tourists burst sideways, flowing intestines streaming onto Godzilla's purple tongue. He bites. Helicopters pour a diarrhea waterfall of stinging acid, shoot flame. He roars, off, away, back, shaking the collapsed architecture till it cracks and splits like a dismembered hummingbird. No, Godzilla gasps, stop! Too late. The curving forms dissolve like crystalline pus. Down, he decides, crushing the towering rubble into its sidewalk. Guts, blood, fingers, brains splashing loose. Admiring beauty, Godzilla is doomed to destroy it. That's my poem.
Thank you so much, Andy. I love it. And I'm glad that it was a good session and that it resulted in some creepy work. So Tammy, speaking of creepy, Tammy was in a performance, I have to tell everybody, Young Frankenstein, and it was absolutely, it was amazing. It was so much fun and, just so much joy and such a great cast. And it was just such a great thing to be there and be part of. So we're glad you're here tonight, Tammy. And Tammy,
thank you so much for coming, Lynn. That made,
and
made me feel so good that you were out there.
It was great. And Tammy's on the Easton Book Festival board as well. So welcome, share something.
Oh, hold on. Can I say who's going next?
Oh, I'm sorry, Darrell. Yes.
It's all right. You're just getting carried away here. I'm gonna say Jamila will be next.
Okay, thank you.
After Tammy. Go ahead, Tammy.
So I will just say I was like in a mad scramble trying to find my poetry folder, which I've apparently deleted from somehow from my computer. So I had to go back through emails that I had sent my poems years ago to somebody. So I haven't even read this since 2016, since I wrote it. So here it is. I hope it's okay. It's called Wasted Wishes. My children and I skate around the empty space you left behind, carefully avoid the topic of you and your bass boat, the scary stories you told, your hilarious insanity, because we, or at least I, know how perilously close we are at all times to the edge of the empty space that would rob us of the reflection we hoped to see in that dark ice. Send us reeling in ungraceful spins of arms and legs, a messy, undignified jumble, the consequence of Pandora's curiosity. All evil lies within that dark hole in the center of our rotation, our universe. It is filled with the all that is, that may in truth be no more or less than nothingness. The essence of who we are and who you were, certain you were. At any rate, I know enough not to get too close. But look at me, a Texas girl so far from home, raising the only future of you here in rural New Jersey, wondering daily at the tiny, adorable signs that they might be like you, the grandchildren you never knew. Like me, they are prone to fanciful flights, destinations only freed imaginations can make real. You knew those places, right? You were a frequent visitor to Mars or other planets, where a trunk full of losing lottery tickets, carefully cataloged in shoeboxes, made perfect sense. You were, after all, a CPA, as uncharacteristic as the career seemed for one who drew cartoons until dawn on those nights when your brain was on fire and you could not sleep, and numbers were your bread and butter. So you knew, even if no one else was willing to admit it, those losing tickets could be written off someday when the numbers turned in your favor, when that winning ticket finally came through. Did it come through for you, Daddy? I chose a different sort of roulette. Carpools, PTA, sandwiches, and cellophane bags. But every day I hold my breath as they walk out the door and pray the yellow bus carries them safely to school and brings them home all in one piece, because I have learned not to rely on the fates to be kind, and even luck requires more of an investment than what can fit inside shoeboxes in the trunk. We skate carefully around the missing center. The hole you made that day at the lake is so much larger now, and every day melts towards the bank. I thank God for every January's passing. Have 15 winters passed so soon? The return of spring and groundhogs, leaving holes behind to search in vain for shadows. When the sun and the moon share the sky, I never waste wishes. Each whispered one will always be for them still. I wish, never out loud and without reflection, I had known and they had known you, Daddy. So that's one. Okay, did I find this one? Oh, okay, good. All right. And this one is called Pink Morning, Texas Dirt. Pink morning, rooster crows, bacon fat frying love in the kitchen. Soft chenille slips my toes, and grandma hears my pitter pat and pulls me up to her lap, wraps my goose flesh in soft word blankets, smothering the chill. Well, now, look who's up with the rooster. My grandpa leans and spits outside. Captain Hook, one eye on me. He straps the sharp prosthetic onto bony, hot, pink, fleshy nub. The screen door squeaks and slams on speckled brown and red linoleum scrubbed clean, free of Texas dirt, and freckled cows that chew and hoof bluebonnets, Indian paintbrushes, girlish lashes, shading, beating back grandfather, sons, heavy heat that cracks and dries and kills soft things in Texas dirt, like tiny red fire ants and children lugging weighty things on backs and tummies, like smelly dogs, sad eye blue and hopeful eye brown, like mine, and mud and thirsty Texas dirt. The ants and hook and metal shed, mouth bite, leave hot marks on pink skin. Turn away to cool porcelain, sink embrace, where once she washed warm pain and biting red from fat pink baby legs and said not to tell. And every day a balded chicken's pink down, thirsty drain mouth drinking, spitting life at cracked, dry, dead Texas dirt. Okay. So yeah, that was pretty heavy. And then I have a nicer one. Do I have time? One more? Darrell? Okay. Okay. This is called I Am Your Angel. I am the angel of the house. I am not a living thing that can be wounded or killed. I exist within the realm of idea. I am of you, though you do not acknowledge me, though you try to deny me. I temper all passions, placate all temper, shush the noisy ambition that screams for recognition. I wipe clean the page, leaving it blank, white, and pure, unoffended by symbol or sex. I erase contradiction, wash the filth of argument and angst, make peace with nothingness. I am the angel of the house. You have not seen me, though you might imagine what I look like. I am, of course, wearing white, a gown of white, a veil of white, a shroud of white. I follow your footsteps, but you do not hear me, for I am insubstantial and make no noise, gliding behind on white wings. I have no power over things of the world, but the world would surely be lost without me. I am the angel of the house. I am waiting, watching, weeping, wondering when and how and where we will meet. For though you live within a world of time, ticking time, and of space, oh, the body, I am free of form and deadline. I am the angel of the house. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Okay, so next up we had Jamila and
Yep.
then David.
David, yep.
And Ron is no longer here, so Ron is not going to close us out, I guess. So go ahead, Jamila, take it away. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamelia. I unblocked my video, but I don't see myself. Are you able to see me?
We see you.
You can.
Oh, okay. I really just came to be a listener today. I really didn't intend to perform. However, the only poem that I can remember is one that I wrote when I was 16. I had written some other ones that I performed recently at open mic nights, but I accidentally deleted them. So I am going to say the one that I did make when I was 16. All right. We play what seems to be a game. The never-ending game is always the same. We start out friends and end up lovers. As fate would have it, we then discover that it is unfair to each other because I love you too much and you love me too little. Then our values become the issue. We then fight and stop speaking. I get hurt and you start cheating. Mm. Trying to remember the other part, sorry. So I tried to make it all pass, to make the game end at last, but it goes on and on, again and again, and wouldn't you know it, we end up friends. So thank you. That's all I have prepared for tonight.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. Nice having you here. Thanks.
Thank you.
So Ron is not here, we said.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just kind of doing a little scroll. Darrell and I usually will do.
David is next.
Right. I'm saying like after David, is there anyone after? Because Ron.
No.
Okay.
No, everybody else is gone.
Okay, so David's next, and then I guess it's me, and then you, Darrell, and then we're
We'll close it out.
done for the night. Yeah. Okay. I think David's still here, right?
Are you going to be reading something?
Oh, I just realized. I'm sorry. I'm using my son's David's computer.
No,
So
I'm sorry. I wasn't
had
sure, so I just went,
I'm so sorry. My name is actually Sylvia Gilfillian. David is my son.
Welcome.
My name is Sylvia Gilfillian. I am from Jamaica. I've been living in the US for the last 29 years. I'm a retired educator. I have one novel on Amazon, The Road to Timnath, and I am writing the sequel. I finished a rough draft. I've also had a short story make the long list for the Commonwealth Prize. And The Road to Timnath was shortlisted for the Una Marson Prize in Jamaica. I'll be reading you. I'm primarily a prose writer, but I do dabble in poetry. And I'll be reading you very quickly 3 poems. The first one is called Mending. Oh, by the way, my Facebook author's page is Sylvia Dennis Gilfillion, for those who want to know more about me. So I'm reading Mending. I'm gathering what's left of my village, patting the dust into place to settle old grievances. My table is set for more than 2, but some spots will not be filled, for former occupants have expired. I'm gathering my clan like an old dirndl skirt, patching my quilt, darning places worn by gritty words spoken in haste. I'm using the salve of bygones to ease old hurts. Lord knows, some holes will remain, but may they be small. And may my restless fingers not worry them open. After all, it is near sunset, and these eyes are too dim to count the steps that go backward. The second poem is in memory of Avante Oquendo, an autistic young man who was improperly supervised while in school in New York City in 2014. He escaped through an unlocked door and was found dead on a beach many weeks later. That incident gutted me because my one son is also autistic. Who will cry for Avante Oquendo? Who will weep for a boy left on a lonely beach to rot like yesterday's refuse? Who will weep as we gather his broken bones from the bushes? Who will wash his remains? Or were they washed by God's ocean because no one else was there to pour libation in his memory? Is that his voice that I hear coming on a winter's blast of cold winds that calls us to give account for a child who ran away, lost in his head, while others lost in the callous remains of weary duty looked the other way? Now that he speaks from marshy, hallowed ground, can you hear him? Weep, I say, weep or die. When I'm dead, when they roll me out, boxed, poofed, powdered, and pomaded for vulgar eyes, I'm not yet dead. For there might be those genuinely weeping who long to see me smile. I'm not dead when I'm recalled in verse and song, when my children still call me with sadness and regret. When the cremator's fire renders me pale ash that can be blown in grey streams by a mischief wind, perhaps I still will unforgotten be. When I'm dead, it will be when no one calls my name or remembers a turn of phrase uniquely mine, a simple thread of thought attributable to me, when no one's memory cradles an image of me and no one says my name. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. And we have a lot of folks from all over the place tonight, and that is a really cool thing to see.
And
All
thank you. Thank
all
you
of
for
you
the
are
festival.
all of you are here with us in Easton in spirit, which is it's a fantastic thing, and it's the spirit of the book festival. It's great. So next up we have Lynn Alexander, our festival vice president and
Okay,
founder of Lehigh Valley Poetry.
Well, thank you. I will just sort of do a quick one to participate, you know. This is from Allegories of America. I don't have names. I don't have faces. I can't zero in. I'm thinking about a junk bin, the future fossil fuels, and I'm in there mining for a twisty tie. I feel love then for the stupidest things, handfuls of things, and they matter to me at the time. I hold up abundance, key rings, magnets, pieces of string. I hold up abundance, trying not to squint. Somebody, somewhere, something has made these things, and in the end, they will join us in our graves, piles of everything we humans were, piles of everything joined in the dirt, piles of everything, everything we humans ever were, trapped in the earth beside us, the new fossil fuels. Short and happy.
Love it. I love it.
All right, Darrell. So you get the honor, really, of not only going last, but of saying some closing remarks, whatever it is you'd like to do before we send everyone off to tea and pajamas.
I assume I read first and then
Yes.
I do closing remarks because that wouldn't make sense otherwise. Okay. I have not written anything anytime recently. I think this is the last thing I wrote, and it was like the end of July or the beginning of July and something like that. Anyhow, this is called The Ritual. A month's worth of groceries, 5 large, heavy bags, and several assorted loose items, a bag of gala apples, a huge, round, sweet watermelon that I have been looking forward to for days. The parking spot closest to my apartment, aka my spot, is taken, so I pull in farther down the block. I unload the bags, one or two at a time, span the distance between car and house slowly, again and again, feeling the pressure on my muscles of each bag, of each item within. I place the parcels on my porch, 2 in the chair by the door, 3 on the ground, taking my time, savoring the ritual of movement, of weight, the zen of repetitive mundane tasks at a leisurely pace. Once the watermelon is resting snugly in the second chair, the one slightly more distant from the door, I take my last lingering trip to close the trunk, lock. Then I begin to move each bag into the house, one by one, in the same unhurried manner. As I reach to detach my watermelon from the deep dent it has created in the cushion of the chair, I hear a young man call to me from the car parked on the street. "Do you need help?" "No," I answer. "I'm good." I reassure myself that calm is found in doing things deliberately, intentionally alone with your thoughts. But in that moment, my thoughts keep telling me that would have been a really sweet gesture if he wasn't parked in my spot. And that was a true story. Anyhow, thank you all so much for being here. This was a great crowd. And we are very happy to have you here. And so hopefully someday all of you will be able to come to Easton and participate in a book festival like in the future or this weekend, depending on who you are and where you are. Lynn, did you want to say anything as a final parting goodbye?
Just to ask people to go to the website if you are local to, we have Wicked Brew this week. We have poetry at Center Square. We have Poetry Saturday. We have the expo. We have authors. We have all kinds of things. Buy each other's books, support small press, support independence, support using people's voices, each other's voices, our own voices, doesn't matter. Support it because it's better than the alternative. Thank you.
All right, and good night, everyone.
Thank you so much.